And we're back after a brief break. You're watching South Texas Crossfire with attorney Joe Flores right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. I want to take a break to say thank you, Carlos Lopez, and for the Coyote, the new radio station right there in my hometown of Alice, Texas. I want to thank you all for what you do there and giving Mexican Americans a voice that we wouldn't ordinarily have. The Lopez family are dedicated to providing a sound base for politics, business, and public awareness. So thank you, Carlos Lopez, and your family. And for my old client, you've honored, you're venerated, and you're never forgotten Humberto Lozano Lopez, who passed away in 2011, his daddy. I'm honored to bring on a good friend of mine, but also an excellent attorney, and one who wants to be a public servant, and who has been an attorney for many, many years. Many of you all that it's going to be played for in Jim Wells County and surrounding areas, you know him, and you know he's a man of his word, and he's an excellent attorney, and that's J. Michael Guerra. Welcome. How are you?
Good, Joe. Thank you.
I'd shake your hand, but we're about 30 feet away from each other, Charlie Rose style. I wanted to bring you on because I thought it's important. Of course, and I offer the opportunity for every candidate to come on. But I wanted to introduce you to the public because here in Corpus Christi, it's in Nueces and San Pat where we play, in Aransas as well. But you are in Jim Wells County. And can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up, your education, training, background, your family? Just go to town.
Okay, sure, Joe. And once again, it's a pleasure to be here. And we go way back because I grew up in an old community. It's known as Los Olmos. There's a little public school there named La Gloria ISD that serves it. That community was actually settled by my family many, many years ago, and my parents still live there. Many of my relatives still live there. And of course, I got to know your dad, who worked at that school. My grandfather worked at that school as well. I'm proud to say that my kids are the fourth generation to go to LaGuardia Public School. And it really prepared us when we got to high school. I graduated from high school in 1984. Went on to the University of Texas, and my undergraduate studies were in government. I got my undergraduate degree in 1987, and was fortunate to be accepted to law school there at UT as well. So got to go to law school there and completed my law school studies in 1990, and sat for the bar exam right away, passed it the first time, and got my license in 1991. So I've been practicing almost 25 years. It'll be 25 years this May.
Congratulations. And your parents. Tell me a little bit about, I know your dad's a legend in the courthouse in the 79th District. Tell everybody about your daddy. That I know all the lawyers love him and people have respect for him when he comes in there, but what does he do? And tell me about his background.
Well, Dad, of course, grew up same place I did. We all grew up out there in Los Olmos. He did a hitch in the Army and then came back and got a job with Exxon, worked with Exxon for over 20 years, and then found the second career working there in county government, first in the probation office, and later, as you know, as the bailiff of the 79th District Court. He's been the bailiff there for over 10 years now. And so I'm fortunate that I get to, whenever I do have court in the 79th, I'm fortunate to be able to work with my dad and see him, and you know, that's something that is very special because he is probably going to retire soon, and it's just an opportunity and an experience that we've had to share. Him seeing me professionally in the courtroom, and me having him there for his counsel and advice.
And also his big hands, those farmer's hands. No cell phones, ladies and gentlemen, in Jim Wells. When you go over there, turn off the cell phones or you're going to get it. And no talking loud in court. Come on, a little respect. So, yeah, he runs a tight ship there for Judge Terrell.
And I catch a lot of heat for that. But I say, you know what? If you got a complaint, go talk to him.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that's an excellent court, and my hat's off to Judge Terrell. Not just because he and my daddy have known him for a long time. I'm from those areas there. I picked melons for Walter Storm for many summers. My dad would take me out there so I could learn the value of an education. And he said, okay, this is your 7th season. You want to go to college? I go, yes, right away. But there's so much history in Jim Wells County. That's another reason I wanted to bring you on. Because, anywhere I go, I hear the same old thing, Box 13, Lyndon Johnson, Jim Wells County. But there's a lot more to Jim Wells County because it has such a rich history. And many people say you went to University of Texas. You've got the pedigree. You come from a long line of people here in South Texas. You could have staked your claim anywhere in Texas. Why did you come back home?
Well, my roots are there in Jim Wells County. That community of Los Olmos is the southernmost tip of Jim Wells County, but we're proud to be part of Jim Wells County. And as you said, it's got a rich history. History was my minor in college. In college, I had the opportunity to intern with State Representative Ernestine Glossbrenner. And eventually that led to me working for her during 2 sessions. Ernestine was not originally from Jim Wells County. She was originally from East Texas, but she came to Alice as a math teacher in, I think, 1953 or 1954. And her joke always was that she taught for long enough that she had taught enough people that could then vote her into office. She had taught enough voters. And when she ran in the mid-'70s, she was elected to the legislature and served for, I think it was 8 or 9 terms. And she and I would have a lot of conversations about the history of Jim Wells County. She got there right after the Box 13 incident, which a lot of people associate with Duval County, but it was actually a box there in Jim Wells County at the Nair School, which I know you're familiar with that area. But I always wanted to come back because it's just so important that young people that go off to be educated, we need some of them to come back. I mean, it's great for some of them to stay up in the urban areas, be it San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Austin, but some of us need to come back and be that next generation that can help our hometown move forward and progress. And that's kind of what I saw myself as. When I came back for a while, I served as 2 terms on city council in Falfurrias, and I was mayor of Falfurrias for 2 terms. All the while practicing in Jim Wells County as well as Brooks and Duval, Jim Hogg. You know the whole area, Joe. I mean, we all make that circuit.
Politics, it's a full contact sport there.
But yeah, I thought it was important to come back and give back to my community, and that's the primary reason I came back.
Well, I know that many people have seen that your law practice as it's progressed over the last 25 years. What are the most, heart-wrenching cases? I know a lot of people really don't understand what lawyers do and the ethical dilemmas and things that we have to go through. There's the stereotype, but the reality of the situation is that you handle a lot of stuff people ordinarily wouldn't handle. I've sent you things you've nearly done pro bono and helped some people out there. Tell me about some of the most difficult cases that you have handled in the past.
Well, for 3 years in the 90s, I did work for the district attorney's office, and I had to prosecute some pretty tough cases, a couple of murder cases, sexual assault cases, especially involving children. Those are so hard to prosecute because in a sense, the victims have to relive the situation. So you have to work with them, and you have to be considerate and understanding of what they're going through. Yet you need their testimony to be able to make the case, to be able to prosecute the case and build your case against the criminal offender. Those are difficult. Those are very difficult, and you have to work with the families and understand from the victim's perspective, they are not just a witness, they are victims. And I think that's something I'm going to bring. That experience is something I can bring to the county attorney's office. Of course, here we're dealing with misdemeanors, but it's something that you always have to keep in mind. You are not just an attorney for the state of Texas. You are an advocate for someone who's been victimized, and you need to always keep that in mind, and have their best interest in mind at all times.
J. Michael Guerra, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to be talking about his campaign, his mission, and his goals for the County Attorney's Office in Jim Wells County. I want to remind everybody that early voting starts February, it's Tuesday,
Next Tuesday, the 16th. Monday is President's Day, so we'll be closed, but the 16th through the 26th.
16th through the 26th. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters out there que salgan a votar, recuerden que su voto es su voz. Si no votan, no pueden quejar después. So remember that, and everybody get out there and vote. And Alice, I delivered newspapers out there since I was 6 to 14 years old, and then I lied about my age so I could be a projectionist at the Rialto Theater. So I know Alice. I know Alice very well, and I still go see patients out there, and I take care of clients, and I want you all to remember, J. Michael Guerra is running for county attorney. Get out there, and when we come back, we are going to talk about politics, and que se animan. Politics can be a full contact sport, but without you, you know, elections have been lost by 15 votes. So let's get out there and vote. When we come back, we're going to continue with J. Michael Guerra, your next county attorney right there in Jim Wells County, when we come back.
Hello, I'm Michael Guerra, and I'm a candidate for Jim Wells County Attorney. I've been a practicing attorney for 24 years, and during that entire time, I have been practicing criminal law. I'm a successful former felony prosecutor. Voters in Jim Wells County in this election have a decision to make, and I believe the primary factor in deciding who to vote for is experience. If you, your family, or your friends should one day become the unfortunate victim of a criminal, you will want someone on your side that has the experience and knowledge to hold that criminal accountable in a court of law. I am that candidate. I ask for your vote and support in the race for Jim Wells County Attorney. The election is March 1st, 2016. Michael Guerra for Jim Wells County Attorney.
And we're back after a brief break. You're watching Joe Flores, attorney at law and host of South Texas Crossfire. And we are now all the time on social media because my good friends in Alice and Brownsville and everywhere else, even bem-vindo a mis amigos que falan português também, that we are reaching out to Brazil even. We have people watching. And even we've gotten emails from people from Cote d'Ivoire. You know, all the way out in Africa. You know, we have people, nurses and other people I know that watch it, and I tell them it's like an Ambien. You know, you want to talk politics, you know, put you to sleep sometimes. But not this interview. We are talking with J. Michael Guerra. He's running for county attorney in Jim Wells County. It's very special to me, where my daddy and I, where my daddy raised me, and I got a lot of my values, and I went to Alice. But my granddaddy's buried in Los Olmos, and we honor and venerate every part of that county. So who better than to bring on J. Michael Guerra, who's been with this community forever and ever and ever. And we were talking about him, UT graduate, and also has served as a district attorney, was also a mayor in Falfurrias, and also on the city council. So he's been a public servant as well as a private attorney. So we're going to turn to politics now, and we're going to talk about it. So grab your popcorn and your sodas, because it's going to get good. All right, so J. Michael Guerra, welcome back. Well, let's talk about the campaign. Let's talk about the doors you've been knocking on. Let's talk about the reaction to the campaign. There's a lot of excitement. I know people, the Castillos from Rain Street, the Garcias down over there in my neck of the woods over there in Buena Vista area, you know, in Alice. Those are only the areas I know, but you're also going on the country. It's a big county.
It is.
So let's talk about your campaign efforts. What's going on?
Well, it's, as you said, it is a big county. It stretches from Sandia up on the lake all the way down to La Gloria, Fremont. You got Bembo, Palito Blanco, and in between. You've got the small communities of Bentonville, Tecolote. A little piece of San Diego, Texas, is in Jim Wells County.
I did not know that.
There are about 10 city blocks of San Diego that are in Jim Wells County. Loma Linda, Rancho Alegre area. There's a new development that people call K-Bar. Trying to hit all those areas and knock on as many doors. There's no substitute for the one-on-one, knocking on doors, talking to people, introducing yourself, telling them what you're about, why you're running, a little bit about yourself, and let them make an informed decision of what they want in the next county attorney. You know, the current county attorney, my good friend Jesus Sanchez Vera, has been serving since 1984. So this is the first time, and it'll be 32 years since we've had a change in county attorney. So it's important that people know what the office is about. You got to know what the office is about so that you can then judge the qualifications of the people running and make a good decision of what you want going forward.
Tell us about that. What does the county attorney's office handle that you'll be presiding over there in Jim Wells County?
Primarily, it's misdemeanor criminal offenses. The other big part of the job is protective orders, victims of domestic violence, making sure that they are protected and getting those protective orders, getting them in the hands of law enforcement so that law enforcement is aware that there's a problem and that they know that if they get a subsequent call, that this is something they need to prioritize, something that they need to respond to quickly, because if you don't, there's always the danger of irreversible harm. Something could happen at a residence. We've seen tragedies. We've seen them here in Corpus Christi. We've seen them in Alice as well. So that's a very important part of the office. Another very important part is truancy, making sure that the kids are in school so that they can learn. And those laws have all been revamped by the last legislature. It's more in the nature of a civil proceeding now, but still involves the county attorney's office. So it's very important that the kids be there for two reasons. One, obviously they can't learn if they're not in school. Two, your school district depends on the kids being in school for their state funding. So there's obviously those two very important reasons why we've got to get the kids in school. In addition, the other two main duties are dealing with people with mental health issues, handling the commitment portion of cases where family members are sometimes seeking help for another family member with mental health issues. And finally, assisting the justice courts, the justice of the peace courts and the municipal court with the appeals. When people appeal, now that we have a county court of law, we have our new judge, Mike Garcia, who you know very well.
Excellent attorney and judge.
He's just been getting rave reviews as a judge of the new county court at law. And so now when they created that court, rather than the appeals going up to the old constitutional county court, they now go to his court. The county attorney is responsible for prosecuting those appeals, as well as assisting the underlying courts as well. So I look forward to, if elected, being able to assist the different jurisdictions throughout the county, be it JP courts up in Orange Grove and Sandia, or even municipal courts, Fremont, Orange Grove, or wherever it's needed.
Oh, well, and going back a little bit, I want to take the opportunity here to thank Jesusa Sanchez Vera for the service that she's done, not only in her office, but I remember, little things. Just a couple of months ago, my sister, Lori Flores, wrote a book, and Grounds for Dreaming, about the Mexican-American experience. And Jesus said, no matter how busy, whatever's going on, she stopped by the library and said hello, and we talked about my dad. She was there at my dad's funeral, as you were. And, there's those things in a public servant that you don't forget. You don't forget the human side of it, that I may have to, she said, I may have to prosecute somebody's son or daughter. I may have to, Floyd the barber's cousin may have gotten shoplifting. It's like Mayberry and Alice, but they have to do their job, but they do it in a way you don't have to be ugly about it. And so my hat's off to her. 32 years of service. She's going to be so missed. But it's very telling that she endorsed you and not your opponent, and I think that's a death blow from my political analysis of things. That is a killer blow to the other side, because that speaks miles about her confidence in you being able to steer the con. And secondly, some of the issues that you brought up, the domestic violence, it's an epidemic in Jim Wells and Nueces County. We just heard from Mark Skirka, who had a summit. And so I know that you're going to be handling the protective orders. What about the first-time drunken driving people? The possession of misdemeanor marijuana. People want to have people tough on crime, but There's also mass incarceration that we're doing to people unnecessarily. How are you going to handle these first timers and make sure they don't come back again?
Going back to the first part, first of all, I can't tell you how proud I am to have Jesus's endorsement in this race. I had the opportunity to work with her during one of the summers of my law school. My law school years, I was able to work for her. And so we got to know each other. We actually knew each other. We worked on our first campaign together in 1982 when I was 14 years old. And so that's when I met Tony and Jesusa, and we've been friends ever since. And it really means a lot to me to have her endorsement because, as you said, she is so well respected in the community. And it really caught us by surprise because at her age, she could have easily run for another term, probably 2 more terms, and had no problem getting reelected. The people of Jim Wells County have reelected her to 8 terms. That tells you she's doing something right. And so that leads me into the second part of your question. How do you deal with people that commit misdemeanor offenses in a small town? Obviously, everybody knows everybody, okay? And you've got to have a feel for it. You've got to have your finger on the pulse and know that it can't be too hot and it can't be too cold. You can't just throw the book and go extreme on everybody, nor can you let everybody off with just a slap on the wrist. You've got to find that happy medium. And how do you do that? Well, you've got to have experience dealing with these cases, which is what I've got on both the prosecution side and on the defense side. I know how to judge a case, and every case is different. Every case has different facts. It might be the same offense is charged, but based on the facts and the background of the individual, every case is different. So you've got to make a judgment call, and you only gain the ability to make that call properly through experience. If it's a young person, first offense, be it DWI, possession of a small amount of marijuana, and they're progressing in college, they're working their way towards a degree, they're looking forward to going out in the job market. They don't need something on their record if they can be redirected in a way that doesn't leave a permanent scar on their record. I'm all for that. Okay. On the other hand, you get somebody who's, older, has a lengthy record, continues to commit the same offenses over and over again. You deal with that case in a different way.
Sure.
There you've got to make the tough choice, and you've got to say, look, there's different ways, and the criminal law recognizes that. There's rehabilitation versus retribution or punishment. And if there's a way to rehabilitate somebody that's young, redirect them so that this is a one-time thing that won't bother them for the rest of their life, the rest of their career. That's the way you deal with it. Okay? If it's a substance abuse problem and rehabilitation of some kind, maybe counseling will help them not repeat, that's the way you do it. Some people, though, you just have to deal with in the punishment method,
Sure.
which is, you either, and of course we're limited in what we can do in the county attorney's office. We handle Class A, Class B misdemeanors. The most that they can be sentenced to is 1 year in county jail, fine of up to $4,000. But you deal with those people, of course, in a stricter fashion than you would with a first-time offender. And I recognize that. And I think that I have, based on the experience that I've got, both in defending clients and in prosecuting clients, you get a good feel for which of the people you're going to see again and which are the ones that this experience has been an eye-opener and they are going to redirect themselves and you won't ever see them again in the criminal justice system. And you've just got to have a feel for how to recognize the difference.
Very well said. We've got a couple of minutes left. I wanted to devote this show to, I always, of course, devote the shows to my dad. I did this for my dad, Alfredo Flores. He was my inspiration. But to Homero Canales, an excellent attorney out there in Alice who passed away a couple of years ago. And for many people don't know this, at his behest, I wrote his obituary for him. I sent it to him. Of course, he had been diagnosed, pobrecito, with terminal cancer. But I said, I don't want you to hear about what I have to say about you after you're dead. I want you to hear about it now. And I published it publicly. And then they read it at his funeral. And he was a great attorney. And I remember when I first started out, I told him, what do I tell these people that have been accused of a crime? He goes, pues diles que se van a ir al bote. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, tell them you're going to jail. But then when you get them probation, they'll say, wow, that attorney's great, you know. So this one goes out to Homero Canales. I mean, he was a man's man, a lion. And in the winter of his years, he was a district attorney. But he got ill, and he's deeply missed by all of us. So I dedicate this show to him. And I want to thank you for coming on. We've got a couple of minutes left. The voters are out there in Jim Wells County. The knives are being sharpened on Election Day. You know, you're beset by enemies as well as supporters. It's Alice, and it's Jim Wells County. So why should they vote for you, closing arguments, instead of your opponent?
Well, Joe, it comes down to experience, okay? And my years as a prosecutor, I was fortunate, and it's funny you should bring up Homero Canales. My years as a prosecutor, I had 16 jury trials, and won 15 of them. The one that I lost was to Homero Canales.
Oh,
great defense attorney and mentor, and we do miss him. We do miss Homero. And in fact, I still have his name programmed into my phone, and it comes up every now and then because another friend of mine now has his phone number. But getting back to your question, the key distinction in this race is, what does this office require? And it requires someone with knowledge of criminal law and procedure. Why does it require that? Because you as the voter, if you find yourself in the unfortunate position of being victimized by a criminal, you want somebody on your side representing you in the county attorney's office that has the skills to go to trial and hold that person accountable in a court of law. And those are the skills that I've got. I have the experience on both sides, knowing criminal law and procedure. My opponent has been an attorney for almost as long as I have, but she has dedicated her career more towards family law, which is fine. But that doesn't have anything to do with the county attorney's office. And so from the voter's perspective, I would ask that they consider, what do I want there? So that if the need arises for me, who do I have in there that knows what they're doing so that they can hold a criminal accountable? And that's very important, because it becomes personal when it's you.
Right.
When something happens to you and it becomes personal, you want somebody in there that can do the job for you. And I believe that that's what makes me better qualified for this particular race. And I hope the voters of Jim Wells County see it the same way.
We're going to have it uploaded on YouTube, and we're going to play it here because I think Jim Wells is very relevant here in South Texas to our Aransas County, San Pat, and Nueces viewers. And also, we want to make sure the message is out there. What's the magic number to call? People that want a yard sign, get involved, get a T-shirt, go out there and stump for you and get the votes out. What is the magic number to call to get involved in J. Michael Guerra's county attorney campaign?
361-668-6344. That's our office number. You can call. My legal assistant, Reba Ramirez, my other assistant is Nelda Flores, and they'll be happy to take down your information, and we'll get the sign delivered, shirt, whatever. If you want to volunteer, we got plenty of work for everyone, and definitely can use all the help we can get.
And that's
668-6344.
Call 668-6344. And also, do you have Facebook
also
or email?
On Facebook and on Twitter. And we also have a website. It's Michael 4, the number 4, JWCA, Jim Wells County Attorney.
All right. So we have Michael 4, the number 4, JWCA.com. And so to get involved, we're going to put that all up on there. And we also hopefully get some campaign literature for you that we can have running up on the screen. Dave does an excellent job on that. And remember, Election Day starts next Tuesday after, oh my gosh, what's the date again? February 16th. Oh my God, I'm getting old.
Day after President's Day.
And March 1st, Election Day. Get out there and vote, please. Si no votan, no pueden quejar después. Por favor, que se involucren a votar, get involved in the process, and vote.
We also have Super Saturday, February 20th.
February 20th,
7
Super
to 7.
Saturday. 7 to 7. All right. And if you want more information, the magic number again, 668-6344, 668 in Alice, 6344, or get involved on Facebook and Twitter, or also visit michael4jwca.com. And we wish you the very best on your campaign. J. Michael Guerra, your next county attorney, with the endorsement of Jesus Sanchez Vera. We wish you the very best of luck.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Thank you all. We're out of time, and God bless.